Alright, so it is now Thursday, and y'all should be working on recording your checks and recording your checkbook register, okay? And you should have already found, if you click on your Google Docs, remember it's up here in the top right corner, you should have already found your interest rates for your checking and your savings, and also the monthly service charge. And those are important things to have because we will need them on here, okay? So you are going to simulate 2 months of spending, okay? I am giving you a balance of $300 to start, and I've already given you dates that I would like corresponding checks and deposit slips written for, okay? And so what you're going to do is first you are going to have a debit card transaction. So I want you to think, and I want you to make actual fake purchases that are similar to things that you would purchase. So if you would go to Stripes and say that you would spend $5.47, then that's what I want on your register, okay? Now, if your bank, like say that you chose a bank, like I think it's Community Bank and Trust, Waco fees, they have some interesting fees for their checking and savings. So this is also important that you've done your research from Wednesday because they have different fees. So if you have a personal account, they have 15 cents per debit transaction. And so you would need to add that to your fees on your register. So if you chose Community Bank and Trust, then you'd also need a 15-cent fee every time you use your debit card, okay? And so, but let's say that we don't use Community Bank and Trust. Then what you are going to do is first you're going to write check 201 and you will pick who you want to write it to. So this could be to a friend, it could be to UHS for the cheer face mask if you bought one of those, and I don't remember how much it was, but say it was $15, and you're going to write it for the corresponding date of 9/1. So, but I want you to have your actual purchases and not my. Don't just copy my purchases because I want this to be reflective of the things that you would spend money on. Okay, and so you draw your lines then. Remember that we don't write out the dollars, but it already has dollars written. Sign your name. And so now that we have the corresponding check, I'm going to record it over here. And I spent $15. Now, I'm going to teach you how to do a formula on sheets, and we'll use these at different points this year, but this way you don't have to be the one to go in and subtract every time. What you're going to do is you're going to hit the equal sign, and then you're going to click on the 300, so the one above it, and then you're going to hit minus, and because this is a withdrawal, you're going to click on the withdrawal, and also if there's a fee, you get charged the fee, so we're going to click there, and also if you get a deposit, then you would add that, so we're going to put add. And so in this cell, you should have equals H3 minus D4 minus F4 plus G4. And you'll hit enter. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click in the middle of this box, and in the corner, this blue square appears. And when you hover your mouse over it, it turns into this cross, and you're going to click, and you're going to hold it down, and you're going to drag it down to the bottom of your sheet. It has automatically filled in all of that information for you. So now you notice that I had already typed in this Stripes payment. If I added a 15-cent fee, it will automatically change it, and I now have a running balance, okay? So then you would write another check. Say that you write it to HEB, or you go somewhere else and you spend money, and let's say that it's $44.57 or whatever it is, and it's automatically going to do that for you if you typed in this cell H equals H3 minus D4 minus F4 plus G4, and then click and drag it down, okay? And then what you're going to do is then you get a paycheck, okay? And when you get a paycheck, I want you to think about how much money do you usually get for a paycheck. So it could be that you get $346 on the last paycheck you had, and that's automatically going to add it all the way down. And now, every time you get paid, I want you to make it a practice that you are taking money out of your checking and putting it into your savings. And so what that means is that if you remember our little video that we watched last week, the suggestion was that you take at least 20% of every single paycheck and you put it into your savings. So 20% of $346, well, all you have to do is do equals 0.20 times 346. So you need to put at least $69.20 in there. So if you make it $70, you have successfully put in 20%. All right, now you notice that I put it as a withdrawal here, and that means that I need to go and deposit it into my savings account because I'm taking the money and I'm moving it over. And you'll notice that the corresponding dates need to match, okay? And we have it over here, and I'm going to type in $70, okay? You can do the same equation here, which is going to be equals this above, H3, minus any withdrawals. Hopefully we don't have any withdrawals from our savings account, minus any fees, plus any deposits. So it should have the equals H3 minus D4 minus F4 plus G4 again, and we hit enter, and it automatically adds it. I gave you $250 to start off in your savings. You're going to click in the corner and drag it down to the bottom here. And I went too far, so I can just delete that cell. But you see that I've already filled this in, and make sure that you are writing your corresponding checks, your corresponding deposit slips. And so you will fill out each one of these. Now you will get, so you'll have debit, so you'll just have to look and see. You have check, debit, direct deposit from your paycheck, EFT, an electronic funds transfer to your savings account. So you're taking it out of your checking, so that's why it was a withdrawal here, and you're putting it into your savings, which is why it's a deposit here. And you'll notice the tabs are down at the bottom. There's also a help that talks about different things to look for, but then you'll write another check. You'll have another debit card transaction, so it could be that you go to Cane's or somewhere like that. Write another check, have another direct deposit. So when you have the direct deposit for your paycheck, it needs to be going into the deposit column. And then you are going to have your service fee. Now your service fee needs to look whatever is on your Google Doc, that your bank that you chose, that service fee. So that service fee that I chose is $4.95. So I'm going to put $4.95 here. If your bank is $5, if your bank is free, I need it to match. So if your bank does not charge, like if it's a credit union that does not have a service fee, then you'd put $0 there. And then your interest is going to be a deposit. And because it was an interest rate, we're going to do 0.01. And that is a percent. And here's the deal. That is an annual percentage rate, an APR. This is a monthly interest deposit. That means that you're only going to get 1/12, so we're going to divide that by 12, okay? And then we're going to multiply that by your previous balance. So you're going to click up into this cell here. So you should have whatever your percentage rate was from A, the 0.01% in my case. Yours could be a whole 1%, okay? Then you're going to have divided by 12 and then times H13. You're going to hit enter, okay? You will notice that I did not get any interest for this. I did it correctly, all right? You will see anywhere from 0 to like 5 cents, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit Control-C to copy it. So Control-C to copy it and hit those two keys. And then I'm going to scroll down to my next interest deposit and I'm going to hit Control-V as in like vary. And I now have that same formula here. So if, let's say that I deposit $1,000, you'll see that we'll get 1 penny, but you won't actually get $1,000 there, okay? So you're going to fill this out. The only thing that you might have trouble with is the deposit slip. And if you have problems with that, go ahead and do everything else. And then on Friday, I'll make sure that I answer that question for you. But it's just like we did it the other day. So you get to pick who, like, sent you money, or you got, let's say that you got a check for babysitting or mowing someone's yard, then you would fill out the deposit slip. You can make up a check number from whoever it was. If they gave you cash, you would put the cash here. If they gave you a check, you'd put the check amount there. You'd write the date that corresponds to the deposit slip, which is October 17th. And then you would put the total amount that the deposit is for there. And so that is what you're going to do. And make sure that every time that you get a paycheck, that you're putting at least 20% into your savings account over here. And you'll do the same thing with your interest, the same way we did it here. So my interest rate on this one, my interest rate here would be whatever I have in B here, which was the 0.01. So I'm going to do 0.01%, and that's going to be divided by 12. And then we're going to multiply it by our previous balance, which in this case is H4. And we'll hit enter. And then you can hit Control C as in cat to copy, or C as in copy, and then Control V to paste as in very, or victory. Okay? And then you'll keep filling in each one of your savings deposits. And so your checks can differ, your paychecks can differ. These are all things that I want to see. How do you think you would spend your money? It could be that you're giving money to your mom for the bills, if that's how you spend your money. It could be that you bought a new concert ticket to whoever you like. So it could be Ozuna or whoever it is. So you do the things that you like to do with your money, and we'll see what happens. Now, the one thing I want you to do is watch this. This does not need to go negative. If it goes negative, you have to use your overdraft fee or spend your money differently. Okay, so if you have a $35 overdraft fee, say you spent $600 on Ozuna tickets, well, you see how it has the parentheses here? That means that there's an overdraft fee because you went negative. And every time you go negative, you're going to have that $35 on it. Okay, like on this one here, it is per overdraft that you will get $35, okay? And so it's important that you pay attention to those. So if you went out and spent money at Cane's next, okay, and you spent your $14.57, you're still negative, so that would be another $35 fee. And so don't let it go negative. Pay attention to how you're spending your money and fill out the register accordingly. So hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but this should get you through today.